Alright, a response to the furry project video. Let's hope this thing goes big. Now, a warning, this is going to be long and in-depth. If you don't like long videos, jack out now. But after that, let's see. Back before I knew anything of furries, I liked video games. I liked movies. I liked hanging out with my friends. I liked books. And even though, you know, there's always people better than me at it, even though I didn't suck, I like sports. Now, later on, when it got into more of a competitive nature, I'm a competitive person, but it just wasn't my thing, so count me in for the game of backyard football. Don't count me in for varsity football. No thanks. Now, I guess a theme behind everything, I'm pretty much in love with the whole fantasy setting. Just the might and the magic and magical creatures and just I guess breaking the laws of reality and such, things that happen that shouldn't be able to happen in the real life. It's just cool. I mean, I live in the real world. It's interesting enough, but there just seems so much more variety and potential in fantasy. And cool thing. But anyways, continuing. When I went off to a 4-year college out of high school, which I promptly bombed out because of my own stupid irresponsibility. Go me. Spank. Anyways, during that time I was introduced to an online role-playing game called Dark Age Camelot. First online role-playing game, and it had to be a PvP one at that. But hey, it was fun. Anyways, I was making a character on there one day, and one of the races was Valkane. Now, the old models for Valkane, I'd already watched some anime at that point, and they reminded me of like the demi-human cat characters that anime has a tendency to have. You know, where they're like half human, half cat. Basically any of the Thundercats crowd kind of thing. But I was feeling in a particularly dorky mood, so I think I made the character, and it was Shadowblade, and I named it Sneaky Kitty because I'm an incorrigible dork. And unbeknownst to me, this would become a theme where like 1 out of every 2 or 3 characters would be this race, well, within Midgard at least, and actually outside of Midgard later, damn it, would be a part of this kitty theme. And I have no idea why, but I just rolled with it. And to this day I probably have about, I don't know, out of my 36 characters on Dark Age Camelot that I play off and on, even though I'm not subscribed anymore, I probably have about 8 to 10 kitties. And it's completely ridiculous. It's dorky, I understand. My friends would have a field day with it, and I think some of them already have. But, you know, I went out there, and I played the kitty character, and I got to be a complete goober. And I don't know, it just fit into the character. I could be goofy, I could be silly, I could be fickle, I could do all sorts of silly things, and it just, for me at that point, it was kind of an excuse to go online and be silly. And then I stopped playing DAOC, I was going to say, Dark Age Camelot, and I started playing Final Fantasy Online later. Well, now Final Fantasy Online, not the best online role-playing game, but one thing it does have, all your characters, I mean all your classes are the same character. You're one character. Makes role-playing a lot easier, a lot more fun. Now, I got onto the game, I wanted to be a thief. That was my thing. I wanted to be a thief. All the other classes, I could go and do those later. I wanted to be a thief. So, I chose the best class for a thief. Or the best race, rather. Which was Mithra. Which, there was unfortunately no male Mithra. So I thought about that for a while, and I said, you know, screw it, I don't care. And I got Mithra. And this was right around the time that Final Fantasy Online came out. For anyone that knows that game, and specifically played it at that time, when Mithra first came out, they were hit on by every and anybody under the sun. Wow, you couldn't walk through town without someone hitting on you. Within a week, I had a custom macro made up to kick somebody in the balls with appropriate animation. Just tie the animation for something else together with the macro for the text. Worked well enough. Now, granted, what I didn't expect from all this is that I would actually start role-playing this character. And I've never been much of a role player, even though I have some fun role-playing time to time. But I guess having all your classes in one character and not having to switch to a different character really helps that. And so, I mean, of course I was silly and goofy like normal, but I also tended to act more cat-like in relation to the character. Even though don't even have a cat, never owned a cat, for some reason I had a decent idea where to go with that. And of course, you know, people started hitting on you and what have you. Like, let's see, there was one battle, we were in the middle of this crazy battle, and he did like a grab my ass emotion. Like emote, what it's called on MMO. And I was like, what, you know, we're in the middle of all this and he does that? Whatever, I typed some sort of appropriate snarky response that's kind of sarcastic and witty, I guess. And I turned around and used my kick him in the balls macro, and in the middle of this crazy battle, we do this, and he falls to the ground, like role-playing it off using his own emote commands, like staggers around and falls to the ground in the middle of this crazy battle, and we got killed because we were all laughing. It was, yeah, we were like, you know, why did you two have to do that? I couldn't see my keyboard to fight, and we lost. But, you know, we all laughed about it forever. It was good times. It was probably one of the best experiences that I've had in an online role-playing game, even though the actual game itself wasn't that good. Just, I guess the role-playing aspect of always being around with other people and being a goober and all that. Now, I went way too in-depth on that, I'm sorry. But, you know, I got through that, and I was role-played as the Mithra character, which is basically a furry, which I didn't even know at this point yet still. So then after that, eventually I get tired of Final Fantasy Online, and, you know, its flaws creep up on you, even with all the interaction with other people and the role-playing and the Japanese characters, which were actually pretty cool, even though you couldn't, like, talk to them directly, but the translator was awesome. And I went back to Dark Age Camelot, where I met my first furry. Now, this was the guy, I mean, he told me that he was furry after we'd kind of teamed for a while, and, like, I had him friended in-game, and we would team up and go and take care of things, or we would just chat. And it was like, you know, he eventually dropped it, he was furry after a few days or a week or something, and I was like, I don't know what that is. So he told me, and, I was like, okay, that's strange. But I looked it up. Said, alright, that's interesting enough. Still wasn't a furry at that point. Didn't know what to think about it, honestly. Now, this guy, he was pretty big into YIF, but it was hilarious because he absolutely couldn't stand if another guy was in the YIF art. So, I actually found out at this point I liked the artistic element of furries because I went and searched up some clean art, and it was really, really good. And I guess art in general, I can appreciate it, and it's good. But it's like adding that fantasy element into it